Hello and welcome back to LEGO City Undercover. Let's see what the professor has to say, shall we?
Mansion. Natalia is there.
Yeah, she could hurt someone. And we need to figure out what Blackwell's up to. What was the research you were doing for him?
I was developing a phased polarity exclusion field.
Right. Now, obviously, I understand what that is, but how would you describe it to, say, a child?
Imagine you have a pair of subatomic particles.
A younger child than that?
It's a kind of a magic bubble which nothing can get through.
Wow. What's he gonna use that for?
I don't know. All I do know is that he wants revenge against Lego City.
Then I'd better warn the police department. Ellie, I got into the base. He was inside Mount Cashmore. And get this. Forrest Blackwell is an evil mastermind and he's behind this whole thing.
Forrest Blackwell? But he's a good guy. He was just on the TV. He was stroking this white cat. Oh, wait, he is evil.
What? Why was he on TV?
He's holding a press conference outside Blackwell Tower this afternoon. Said he had some news which would change Lego City forever. Everyone's gonna be there.
Well, you've got to stop him. Tell the chief.
I will, but, do you have some evidence I can give him? Or donuts?
No, but I'm gonna get some.
Ooh, I would quite like an apple-filled donut, please.
Evidence! I'm gonna get some evidence.
Okay, look. I'll go to Blackwell Tower. Most of the department's gonna be there for the press conference anyway. And I'll keep working on the chief. But call me as soon as you've got something he has to act on.
Thanks, and be careful.
So here we are at the rifle point.
We are close. Blackwell has a private helipad we can make use of.
I quite like the guy about the white cat, that's cute. Fairly obvious I need to get around there. This cliffside area. This is a neat area, but something that's kind of mean about it is there's actually a collectible here that's very easily missed. And that was foolish. That was just me being a big silly. You have to be very careful on that part of the cliff because it's very, very, very ludicrous trying to navigate that. And that's just me just checking, but no, there's nothing there, and I'm not going to risk it anyway. Let's head back up this rather hairy part, get the astronaut back out so we can fly up here. That was just me checking something. Didn't really pan out the way I wanted it to. I quite like this little ascent. It gives you plenty of time to get used to the way the jetpack controls and also learn its strengths and weaknesses, like just how high it can go, how far it can go on its own power without needing refueling, that kind of stuff. It's a good little kind of tutorial for just how much a jetpack can be of use. I also like the approach to the back door of Blackwell Tower, Blackwell Manor as well. Yeah, that's why we came here, pretty much. This is the back door that will get us into Blackwell Palace. Palace? I keep making the same mistake with different words. Blackwell's house. That'll do. So of course he has his own private helipad. This is what I was trying to get to, this thing. This is a really easily missed token. Unfortunately, you can't really get back up from there either. So I have to go around this part again. But that's fine, it's not that long to get around. But yeah, Tim Welsh is one of the hardest ones to really find if you don't get it on the way here, because it's so easy to miss. And if that's the one you miss, and trying to find which one you've missed at the end of the game when you have like 189 character tokens out of 190 is a nightmare. Worse, I think it's 290. So let's finally approach the actual manor and see what we can do to get in there.
Think you can open it?
There you go.
Well, I could have done that. Blackwell's mansion is huge. We should split up.
Yes. Good luck, Chase.
This level's pretty interesting. I quite like it because it's a different take on a similar level that we've seen before. Just not this part of it. Although we did see it during the escape, which is pretty cool to be able to kind of now explore it now that we've teased that this area exists. For some reason, this is another one of those situations where I have a lot of trouble with the bloody firemen. Of course, you need to put out 6 of these torches, but they're so finicky to actually hit. I swear before this playthrough I never had this much trouble with the hose, but I may have just blocked it out. This is just particularly obnoxious trying to get this. There we are, done. It's so ridiculous. It's like the hardest thing to do in the game for absolutely no reason. Just because of the wonky hit detection, it's ridiculous. It's silly.
I hope all the security means Natalia's nearby.
Let's take care of a few of the Agent Smiths. These guys are fairly easy. They're pretty standard, just karate them pretty much. Just counter them, counter them, and counter them. That's pretty much the whole game pretty much after you learn the counter move is just counter everything, because otherwise a lot of them will just land on their feet again and be annoying. Like even the harder enemies pretty much just counter them and arrest them. There's really not much else to the combat in this game, unfortunately. It's fairly shallow, but still kind of fun. The main problem with the combat in this game is waiting for them to actually attack you so you can counter. That's kind of a pain. Let's take care of the Jiggly, because we can in this one through. I like that we can finally take care of these Jigglies. They always annoy you. I always get annoyed when I see a thing that I could do something with on a level, but I don't have the power yet. And it's like, oh, how long will this take?
A silver statue and a giant letter B. Subtle and classy, Blackwell.
Uh-oh.
Yep, we need a key for that, so let's see what else we can do around Blackwell Manor. Let's try going around back, seeing if we can get any inspiration.
Like he paid Frank to do his wiring.
This slide takes a lot to trigger.
Playground? That's just weird. What's weirder is I really want to play on that slide.
What you did in escaping the Agent Smiths, dude. Focus.
Smashing it's good too, though.
All me wandering around in the grass is doing is me checking for any of those boulders, because they are kind of easy to miss, although they're very obvious when they're there. And yeah, I quite like that the gun for the farm is shooting eggs from the chicken's bum. It's never used, like, ever, but it's a cute little thing. Let's just play on all of Blackwell's equipment, because why not? Except for that cursed basketball hoop, I really just don't care. There's no reason to do any of this anyway. Not that I recall anyway. Come on, thank you. Oh, I do this. I forgot I actually did this. I guess I was making absolutely certain I didn't miss any of the more well-hidden shields. I'm losing words all over the place today. They're just falling out my dictionary. It's ridiculous. Don't trip over them later. I like that you get a lot of these little like unique animations in this area as well, because I don't think the playground in Lego City proper has a merry-go-round. Maybe mistaken, I'll have to check that out, but it does have a bunch of these other stuff. There's nothing to that. It's a nice feature, but you'd think there'd be something to it, but there really isn't. Getting adventurous, aren't we, Chase? training, I guess. Got a lot of landscaping to do around Blackwell Manor, to be honest. It's kind of weird. I do kind of like it's got a weird theme to it in that case. It's just making Blackwell's gardens nicer. Getting rid of the large boulders and making his flowers happen. It's just like Viva Pinata, which I really enjoyed. Well, I was never good at Viva Pinata, though I always kind of got stuck at a certain point when a certain thing was about to trigger. I just couldn't get it to actually trigger. No matter how hard I tried, it just wouldn't quite work out. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was something involving one of the NPCs not, like, approaching the garden the way he should have done or something like that. But let's continue landscaping before we actually find our way to taking care of this electric current that is somehow blocking the stairs. You'd think Blackwell would hire better help. Now that you can see that into that window into that little swimming pool at the next level up, that's a pretty cool little visual touch. I like the mural on the inside that wall as well, that's pretty cool looking. It's a very nice looking little room, and even though you barely see it. And you can only see it on this level, you can't even like see it in the cutscene in this level of piercing. But I quite like the design of this level in general. It's very circuitous, but you can also, because of the whole constantly going further and further up thing, and it being structured like a pyramid with each level being shorter than the last, it gives a good kind of a ramping up feel of progression. With like a the higher you go, the faster you progress kind of a thing, because there's just less and less stuff on each level. And it's a neat little kind of aesthetic thing as well for that. I quite like the strutted Blackwell Manor thing. It actually reminds me of the architecture sets Falling Water in the LEGO architecture sets, and also in actual architecture in the worlds. Oops, that guy was an idiot. So I like the design of the Falling Water building as well, it's really cool. But the LEGO set is hella expensive, so I never got it. Because LEGO in general is really expensive, especially the architecture series, which tend to be, from what I've seen of them on the box and stuff, they seem like they're very small for the amount of money they actually cost. Which is my problem with a lot of LEGO sets, really. I know a lot of it is due to really stringent QA, but LEGO sets for me are just way too expensive. It was my brother that bought the big expensive ones, like the Wayne Manor and stuff, because he wanted to spend like £150 on a LEGO set. Well, I prefer to spend my money on video games. But here I guess I compromised, so yay. I remember once, like, just LEGO things, there's a lot of cute thing where, like, at one point when I was watching, after I watched the LEGO movie, I got a little bit inspired, dug out what level what LEGO I could find out after I finished watching the DVD, and just decided to see what I could make with it. Because I just had some random, like, stuff lying around in a little shoebox. And I managed to do some pretty interesting facsimile of an oil refinery kind of a thing. The tower was a little bit off kilter because it wasn't really designed to be one. It was a piece that was designed to be from some kind of sci-fi set that was like a tube that an alien was supposed to be chilling in, so it was kind of designed to be at a weird angle. So as a result, the oil refinery part of the tower, the cracking tower, that's it, was at a strange angle, but it was an interesting thing that I managed to almost pull off, so I was kind of happy with that. That's my LEGO story. Also, once at a friend's party around Christmas time, I saw a young kid playing with some like little building blocks, and when he'd done with them I got a little bit inspired and tried to see what I could do with them, because I was just kind of like, well, I'm kind of bugged, I'm bad at parties and there's some things there, I might as well see what I can do with them. What can I say? I kind of like toys. I want to just mess around with every now and then. Which of course, as I'm sure we all remember, is called playing. Like, I'm trying to put it in like a more mature manner. Was that now? I just like playing with toys sometimes. Because why not? I don't do it often. I don't really have many toys. It's mostly construction toys and stuff that I have now, but and again, mostly it's video games, really. But let's get back to beating people up. Because again, I guess a fairly childish thing to do. Unfortunately, I couldn't light that guy on fire no matter how hard I tried, so I just kicked him through the railing. I hope he's okay. With his head in the railing like that. It's kind of lucky that plant doesn't catch on fire there. I should have done this torch first. That's really worryingly close. At least in the camera angle it seems to be anyway. A lot of this stuff is stuff we've seen already, so if I want to get a little off topic, there's a really great YouTube video I quite like called The Begun of Tigtone that's just really funny because it follows this really bizarre kind of dream logic. I quite like that a red brick in the mailbox. It's kind of a cute little nod to, I think, at least one of the Lego game where like the red bricks were actually found in mailboxes for the most part. Oh, you mailed them. They were parcels that you mailed. Can't remember which Lego game that was in. I think it might have been a few of them, but I remember that was the aesthetic for a good chunk of them. But yeah, the Begun of Tigtone is really funny. It has a really bizarre kind of dream logic going on. And when it comes to dialogue especially, it's got some really wonderfully off-kilter dialogue. Like, Grant, give me a quest, Ghost Wizard, or I shall take one from you with my bare hands. Lines like that that make some kind of weird internal sense if you think about each word individually, but taken as a whole it's like, what? You know, for example, like if you just change the noun in that particular sentence it makes perfect sense, but the fact that it's talking about the quest makes it absolute nonsense. That kind of stuff where the dialogue is almost sensical but not, there's always just one word slightly off about it. It works really well. There's also a great thing where at one point, the Ghost Wizard's like, after Tigtone asks if his friend or foe, he's just like, just the same, and somewhat same, all rolled into one. One and the same. Lines like that work really well. My god, this torch is giving me trouble. This is why I'm kind of talking about random stuff at this point, because god, that was annoying. So let's go down here now and find our way inside that little room with this teleport pad. It's not surprising, of course, Blackwell's the kind of person who builds sandcastles. And there's our sentinel friends. The wannabe cyclist buddy. There's something I just forgot about in that cutscene as well with the Sentinels. I quite liked that it wasn't actually an intercom, but just the guy's voice being distorted by having Chase shove a pot on his, so it sounded like one. That was kind of funny. So let's finally, oops, screw up with our disguises again. Squeeze in among these boulders and repair this box to get inside the actual mansion finally. Something I quite like here is that things kind of come full circle. Disguises, so many of them. So easy to screw up. And here we are. We remember this room, don't we? At least a very similar one. I quite like the visual similarity to the other room that we were in. It's like almost the same but not quite. It's a neat kind of not quite bookend, but
looks like most of Lego City's here too.
Woohoo! Party! Put your talk back on, honey. You're still on duty.
Listen, I still haven't managed to get through to Natalia.
That's because Blackwell has her. Natalia's dad's a scientist who was refusing to help Blackwell build some kind of shield thing, so Blackwell used Natalia as leverage. Long story short, your dog probably didn't get walked today.
Wow. Okay, well, the conference won't be starting for a while. They put up this giant electronic countdown.
Well, that's not ominous. Once I find something, I'll call you.
I like the Blackwell sliding puzzle, that's pretty cute. And the fact that you can kind of tell what's going to happen with these bookshelves because they're the only books that aren't destructible. It's so obvious, but you still have to go through all the hoops to actually be able to do what you need to do here. But it's kind of wonderful in a silly way. That should have hit. That's BS. Seriously. What? Fine. We'll do it properly. Ridiculous. There we go. That sliding puzzle's a pretty neat little visual thing as well. I quite like it. Partially because I don't have to actually solve it. Yay! There we have it. So let's finally have Chase figure out what the deal is with these books, even though he really should be able to figure it out by this point.
Nothing
See?
happened. Maybe there's another switch.
Seriously, you still need to do detective mode to figure out that other one set of books is the missing switch. Chase, you're a fool. But let's see what we can do from this. And hey, look, it's the bell pepper emerald. I quite like that callback as well, the bell pepper emerald, what he's using in his plan in this way. That's a pretty cool kind of a callback. I quite like that. So let's get this out of the way.
Did you find Natalia?
No, sorry. But it looks like I found Forrest Blackwell's secret. He's a model-making nerd.
He is an evil genius. This is his plan. Look, this is my phase polarity, my magic bubble. He means to fly to the moon.
How? The shuttle on Apollo Island isn't big enough for all his cronies. And you can't exactly hide a giant rocket in Lego City. The countdown! Blackwell Tower! Ellie, you have to get everyone away from Blackwell Tower. Now!
Okay, but why?
Blackwell Tower is a rocket. When it takes off, it'll fry everything within 10 blocks. I'm sending you evidence.
Right. Everyone, you need to clear the area!
Look, we don't have long, but we may be able to help.
How?
I'll tell you on the way.
Yeah, things are escalating pretty quickly, aren't they? I quite like the clip of this guy's rocket as well. It's a very suspiciously shaped building. So you can kind of notice something's a bit off there if you really think about it, but for the most part you won't because you don't really get a good look at it, only really the base. I quite like the way they kind of hide that twist in plain sight. It's pretty neat. Well, Blackwell Tower's a rocket. Rockets explode! So let's see what we can do to stop that, shall we? Otherwise, 10 blocks is quite a large amount of Lego City there. That's at least as far as probably close to Vinnie Pappalardo's doorstep. And depending on how much of a shield the mountain makes, it might survive. A good chunk of the other half of the island might survive, but it might also just funnel the explosion
I'm going to
in a more
Blackwell
devastating
Tower.
direction.
I need you to go to my building in Auburn Docks.
Okay, what am I doing?
I just said, you're going to my building in Auburn Docks.
And when I get there?
I have working prototypes of the magic bubble machine there. They're in my laboratory.
What are you gonna do with them?
I'm going to invert the polarity of the neutron. I'm going to tell the mystical pixies that live inside there.
I'm not an idiot, Professor. Are you gonna use the magic bubble to contain the rocket's exhaust?
Yes, exactly.
And what if you can't?
Then I'm going to get a very good tan.
I like that Chase isn't actually an idiot, he just isn't educated on the science behind the magic bubble machine. I mean, that's very high level science. Especially to expect a cop to know, that's kind of unfair for the professor there. He's being kind of a dick there, to be honest. Of course, Chase doesn't really understand that much about particle physics. That's not his job to know. It's kind of irrelevant to his job until this point. But he at least understands the practical purposes of it, which is pretty well done. Here I actually had to redo this part because first of all my helicopter crashed and I had to walk half the way, and then the game crashed and I had to restart this part of the game. That was fun. I quite like the way the plot's just kind of escalating further and further, and the fact that this kind of takes you around by Blackwell Tower, so you can really feel just how shit things are getting. That's a pretty cool kind of way of keeping the tension up, by just keeping Blackwell Tower in sight and just going, yeah, look, this is the problem here. Take care of it. It can be a little tricky to get it out of this area, because you have to go all the way around the outside, because you can't really go any higher than this, which is kind of a shame, but that again is partially because the middle of the island, where all the mountains are, is pretty much no man's land. There's only a couple of small channels to get between there, and it was one of those channels I was trying to take, but where the helicopter got stuck and then crashed and exploded on me, which was terrible. Well, we're closing in on where we need to go.
Have you got to my lab?
Not yet.
Then drive faster. This is a matter of life and, you know, the other thing. Oh, and your chief has dispatched another officer to help you when you get there. We're going to need more shield generators than I first thought. Hurry up, Chase. You need to get to my lab.
One thing I quite like that is kind of put together as well, earlier in the week, not like just now.
Quickly, Chase.
When we were dealing with Chan Chuang, we were actually much closer to the main villain than we thought we did. I mean, who do you think wanted that moon buggy? I mean, certainly Vinny Pappalardo was working for Rex Fury, but it's very likely that Chan Chuang may have been working directly with Forrest Blackwell without even realizing it himself. Unless he was going through Rex as well, that's not made clear, but oops! Fine, whatever, also a few broken fevers.
Hey, Chase!
Frank!
Who else would they trust with such an important mission?
Literally anyone.
You're so funny!
To be fair, Frank has been improving, as we heard in that optional conversation, that you could completely miss on the way to the construction site if you just went straight there, like I almost did. But while he's still a blithering idiot, he's a lot less stupid than he's a lot more careful than he used to be.
Go.
This part's kind of ridiculous as well, because what happens here, I'm kind of stuck. I can't get out the car, and I can't drive, because it's actually loading the conversation that will trigger the start of this mission. So this is just me fiddling around just going, what's happened? Has it crashed? Has it broken? Is it fucked? But no, it's just loading. It's ridiculous. I mean, seriously, how long is this having to take to load this conversation?
Chase,
I mean, it's taken a while before, but never that long.
To get into Blackwell Tower, I've managed to hack into their launch computer and slow it down slightly. You don't have long, though.
Don't worry, I'm at your laboratory.
Good. Then drive the shield prototypes here as fast as you can. And drive carefully.
Okay, I could definitely do one of those things.
These vehicles are fairly flimsy, but it doesn't really matter, because you don't really have much in the way of opposition on the way, you only really need to worry about the other drivers. And also the fact that we only have 3 minutes to take the roads there now, which is a little tight, but not too bad. It gives us plenty of leeway, really, but it feels tight, and that's the important thing, until you actually arrive.
That is gonna leave a dent.
I do quite like that shot as well of the smoking doors at Blackwell Tower, although they've done a really poor job evacuating the place. Seriously, the police force in this game is ridiculously terrible. I mean, Chase is the only competent cop in the entire force, it seems. At this point in his career, at least the third most competent, and Frank's probably the third. Because God, the chief's an idiot.
McCain, I'm with Kowalski. And where are you?
I'm about halfway there, Chief.
Not good enough. This thing's getting ready to launch. Find the accelerator and don't take your foot off of it.
But maybe that's being unfair to the chief, because he's got a lot better since the beginning of the game. He's still belligerent as hell.
I cannot stop the countdown.
I'm driving as recklessly as I can, Professor.
I like that line though. But yeah, let's be fair to the chief. He's a lot less terrible than he used to be. Partially because he's finally, at this point, realised that if he stays a belligerent ass, he'll soon be a roasted belligerent ass.
Hope they're okay.
They will be really something getting their faces melted by this rocking guitar solo that's about to come up. By rocking guitar solo, I mean the tower. That metaphor got away from
Gonna
me.
need repairing.
Here we are. Oh, of course, love the shaking as well on the way there. That's a pretty cool effect, where it's just like everything's going to shit. Hurry, 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 hurry! It's pretty cool.
Drive to the marker. It will automatically position one of the magic bubble machines for you. I should probably have mentioned they're in self-assembly kit form, so you will need to build them. I'm too busy slowing the countdown.
Of course they are. So let's build them. Of course, for some reason, Blackwell's guys are still hanging around here. They're apparently suicidally into his plan. Which is a little weird. I mean, I don't know why they're hanging around. They could just be escaping.
Professor told me to wait here and not touch anything. Oh man, look!
It's not that they're
It's all in
fireproof.
pieces. That happened to me when I bought that painting. But then the guy at the store explained it was actually a jigsaw puzzle. I managed to put it together, but it took ages because the picture was of the color brown. Then I turned it over, and someone had painted a load of kittens on the back of it, just like they had on the box it came in.
I like the designs of the phase polarity shields. They're pretty cool. It's very classic sci-fi, although I'm doing terribly at fighting these guys. I don't know why I'm suddenly sucking so badly here. When the fighting system is honestly quite easy. I like that little bracket there as well. That's programming language. That's always kind of funny though, where it's just like a little bracket where it's obvious that was a variable. It's even funnier when they actually screw up programming so badly, really badly, and the variable actually doesn't load. That's pretty great too. I very rarely see that kind of glitch, but it's always kind of funny when it happens. And that wasn't even glitch, just the way the subtitles designed, but you know what I mean. Just the brackets kind of call attention to the variable, which kind of probably what makes it so weirdly funny looking. Yeah, everyone in this series is really bad at packaging their Lego. What happened to the little plastic bags that you always like separate them into and everything to keep everything organised? It's always half built as well. It's so unsatisfying.
We've evacuated all the citizens. I hope you set up those things right, McCain.
Me too. There's no way we'll get to a safe distance now, and I don't do well in the heat.
I do.
Honey, that rocket's flame is gonna be burning at 3,000 degrees!
That is hot. I better take off my jacket.
How long do we have, Professor?
About -3 seconds!
I like the microwave ding, that's pretty funny.
Chase! When I hacked into their computers, I saw that Natalia was on board!
What?
That was good work, Chase.
He is talking to me, right?
You've saved a lot of lives today, and I'm a big enough man to admit when I've made a mistake. Or two. Which is still a lot less than you've made.
Thanks, Chief. Mayor Gleason, I need a favor.
For the man who just stopped Lego City being destroyed? Name it.
I still have some people I need to arrest.
I'll call Apollo Island right away. I think they've got a shuttle they can lend you.
Oh, shotgun!
Frank pulled it off. He did his job well without screwing it up. Amazing.
Professor Kowalski, don't worry. I'm going to get Natalia back.
Thank you, Chase. Is there anything I can do to help you?
I guess it'd be useful if I knew how to fly a shuttle. Can you give me a crash course so I don't, crash?
No need. The engineers at Apollo Island will fly it by remote control.
What about Blackwell's one? I'll have to get it back to Lego City.
Oh, you can cross that bridge if you come to it.
If?
Sorry, when? I meant when.
Exciting. Space. I'll see you next time for space. Goodbye. Space.